Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a new video where I'm going to discuss all of my planning plans for 2023. It feels actively insane that we are so close to 2023 that I'm already planning all my projects. Like, I can't believe this year is almost over, but we are in November, so we don't have very much left of this year. And I have for the last couple of months thought about what I want to do for the next year, what projects I want to change, if there's anything I want to add, and you know, what kind of projects I want to take away altogether. So that's kind of what I'm going to go through today. I'm also going to go through a little bit of like what's going to be included in some of my projects, and also kind of my structure for some of my favorite projects moving forward. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in watching, as well as maybe want to give some feedback on, just stay tuned. But before you do that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So how I think I'm going to structure this video is just go through each project that I'm planning to do next year kind of in order, and yeah, just talk a bit about it, and you know, also if there's anything I want to cancel or anything like that, I'm also going to mention that. And again, I would love your feedback if you have any ideas. If you feel like any of the changes that I'm doing aren't your cup of tea, let me know. And also if you have any other ideas for me, let me know. You know, yeah, if there's anything you want to see from me, just leave it in the comments, because it's really helpful for me to see what you like, what you enjoy watching. You know, it also needs to be right for me, obviously, for my planning in the upcoming year, but I love hearing your guys' feedback, so do let me know down below if you do have any comments. But the first project that I want to tackle is Panda Palette. I've been doing Panda Palette for I think almost every single year that I've been on YouTube, which is going to be 5 years in January, which is crazy. I think there was 1 year that I didn't do it, but otherwise I have done it every single year, and I'm gonna do it again in 2023. So I feel like Panda Palette is very straightforward. I do Panda Palette to completion. I don't really do Panda Palette with just hitting pan. I can understand why people do it, because it is very hard panning a palette, but in my eyes, Panda Palette is fully panning the palette, or at least using it as much as you can throughout the year, and that's what I'm going to do too. I mean, panning a full palette is very difficult. I mean, currently I'm panning my Modern Renaissance palette, and I don't think I'm going to finish every single shade until the end of the year, but I mean, I have gotten a lot of use out of it, and I'm trying to complete as much as I can out of the palette. And again, that's kind of what I see Panda Palette being. Panning an eyeshadow for me is just basically finishing it. Hitting pan is different. Hitting pan is just hitting pan, but when it comes to Panda Palette, I always see that as finishing the palette, so that's what I'm going to do again. So I do have a couple palettes that I'm considering for next year. I think I have sort of made my mind up, but I would love to hear your feedback as well, so let's go through the palettes that I'm considering. So one of the main contenders for my next year's Panda Palette for me is my Nikkie Tutorials and Beauty Bay palette. This one is a chunky boy. It is a large palette. It has a lot of shades, and it has colorful shades mixed with neutral shades. It's a good ratio of mattes and shimmers, I would say. So I feel like this would be quite a good palette to pan. The worst thing about that palette, which would be difficult if I'm panning this as well, I have to show it every month, is the mirrors. Like, the way this opens up is just really difficult to show, but I am considering this really heavily to pan. I think this is the one I'm gonna go for. I have a few ideas of what I want to do, if I want to kind of mix this in with a different palette, which I'm going to share in a second, or if I want to pan this alone. So again, let me know what you think. But I think it's going to be a good palette to pan, because it has a lot of really nice colors. It has some more colorful shades, it has some more neutral shades. I feel like I can use this for every single day looks as well. There's like this peachy shade, like the browns, even this plummy shade. The shimmers are beautiful. That's another reason why I want to pan this, because I am kind of fed up with this palette. I would like to get it out of my collection, but there's a lot of shades in here that I absolutely love, and I do want to kind of use up. I don't know if I want to focus on finishing every single shade, because some shades in here I don't love. So with this palette, I think I'm going to neglect some of the shades, but I'm going to kind of, if I do choose this palette, I want to put the eyeshadows that I want to focus on out of here and finish those mainly, and then just, you know, the rest of the palette I will use, but maybe not focus as much on finishing in. But that is the first kind of palette that I want to focus on, and again, I'm pretty much set that I want to use this one. I think it's going to be a good option for me. But yeah, again, let me know your opinions. The palette that I've been considering adding in as a companion palette to that is my Anastasia Prism palette. This palette I wanted for a really long time, and I picked it up from eBay. It was basically untouched when I got it because it was already discontinued at the time that I decided to pick it up. But this is what the palette looks like. It is a nice palette, however, it's just nothing that I want to keep in my collection. I do kind of regret buying this one. I have gotten a lot of use out of this palette, mainly from adding shades into product pans. I have 5 pans in this palette now, which is pretty good. I feel like there's a lot of shades in here that I could easily pan as well. I mean, it's not easy to pan an eyeshadow in general, but I think it's shades that I could easily reach for. I think the first 3 shades here would be really good to reach for. Same with like the shimmer here, maybe this shimmer here, the brown as well. I think those would be easy shades to reach for. Maybe even like Lure or Saturn I would reach for a little bit, but mainly like this first half of the palette minus Throne. So like this half of the palette, I would think I would be like have a really easy time panning. So that's kind of why I'm considering adding this in as a companion, or even use like a second panner palette, like trying to pan both palettes. But again, just kind of determining which shades I want to focus on at the beginning of the year. Another option for this palette would just be to add in shades into projects to finish rather than have it as a panna palette. So let me know what you think of the idea of having 2 pannas palettes in the same video, or if you rather me focus on one of them and then have the other one like kind of again being added into different projects with goal of finishing eyeshadows. Yeah, I think that's kind of what my plan is. And again, this is a palette that I want to get out ideally next year, so I'm just gonna kind of use up the shades that I enjoy in here and then declutter the rest of the palette. Moving completely away from those palettes, another palette that I would consider panning, because I feel like it would be a really nice palette for me to pan, is actually my Red Dragon palette from Odin's Eye. I have mentioned this before, but this in theory is like a very, very me palette. Like every single shade in here is very me. However, I just don't reach for it very often because I have these shades over and over in my collection because they are so me. And I feel like I would enjoy panning this palette quite a lot. I think it would probably take quite a while to pan it, and it is basically brand new, so it would be a hard palette to pan, but it's one that I would consider. However, I am very much leaning more towards the other 2 palettes because I want to get them out of my collection. This is very new. It's not even a year old in my collection yet, so you know, I don't necessarily feel the need to pan this yet. This might be a contender for panna palette maybe in a year or 2, but for now I think it's not really going to be a panna palette for me. I think I'm going to try to reach for it more next year, maybe even hit some pans, because currently I have no pans in here. But yeah, for now I think the other 2 I'm leaning more towards, but let me know again what you think down below. So that was the first product that I'm planning to do next year. The second product that I'm planning to do next year, which is a given, is my product Level Up. This is a product that I created earlier this year. I created it in January, and I've been doing it almost for a full year now, and I'm of course going to do it again next year. I have been loving doing this project, and I have heard a lot of people who want to join it next year as well. I know some people have already joined in this year, but I know some people have mentioned that they want to join in next year, which I'm so excited about. Honestly, like, it makes me so happy every time someone says they're enjoying this project, like either doing it or watching it. And when people say they want to join in, like, it just literally makes my day. I love seeing that. Because I enjoy it too. Like, I love this project. I'm so happy with creating it because it was the perfect project for me, because it meant that I got to rotate through palette and actually use every single shade rather than just focus on hitting pan on specific ones. It means that I use palettes as a whole. I create looks with palettes as a whole rather than again just like focusing on 1 or 2 shades and mixing them with other colors. Like, I do that all the time. I mix palettes and singles all the time, like almost in every single look that I do. But with product Level Up, it means that I get to reach for the palette and create singular looks with that palette, but also incorporate it into other looks and still do my ultimate goal of hitting pan and, you know, getting better pan percentage in my collection. So I feel like that was the best happy medium, and that's why I created this project. And again, I love that so many other people are enjoying it too. Again, it makes my day. So I'm definitely going to bring it out next year. I am considering whether I should restart the project in January, like reset it, or if I'm going to continue. Currently I am on level 3. I started that this month, so I'm not sure if I'll hit my goal on that by the finale. Maybe I will. It's 2 months away, so maybe I will. It's quite a hard palette though to hit pan on, but I'm considering, you know, because I could continue up to level 4 and then 5 and then reset it again, but I think maybe I want to reset it next year. But again, let me know, what would you prefer? Would you prefer me keeping it going, or would you prefer resetting it? I like resetting products, same with like panels, eyeshadows and everything like that. Even though I do them year after year after year, I like resetting them just to get a fresh start with a new color story or palette. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But again, if you prefer me continue the project without a reset, let me know. But yeah, Project Level Up is definitely coming back next year. Another eyeshadow project that I'm going to bring back next year is Those Eyeshadows. Those Eyeshadows I've done every single year since 2019, I think so. I think I've done it for 4 years now, or 3, I can't remember, but I've done it basically since it became big. I did it, yeah, I know Alexa created it, and next year I started it straight away. So I've done it for a very long time, and I'm going to bring it back again next year. I was considering taking a break from it because I have been very overwhelmed with eyeshadow. I mean, with Panel Palette and Project Level Up, again, they're very eyeshadow heavy products. It's only eyeshadow, and then Panel's eyeshadows on top of that have been quite a lot. I've been very overwhelmed with the amount of eyeshadows that I'm panning, but somehow I'm still managing it, so that's good. But there are a couple of changes that I want to do to Panel's eyeshadows next year. The first change, which is probably going to be the biggest change, is that I want to start using Lainey's prompt from Makeup with Lainey. I've seen her and a couple other people do it this year, and you know, originally I thought like this amazing idea, but it's not for me because I love the randomization of Panel's eyeshadows. That's kind of, you know, means that I'm more creative with my looks. But recently I feel like I've gotten that creativity from my Project Level Up, because again, I have to use the palette as a whole, use every single shade, and be creative with using my eyeshadows that way. And the more kind of I thought about it, the more I think it's going to fit in with my makeup panning next year, to use the prompts. Because even though you pick the eyeshadows, it still are prompts, so you can't pick whatever, but it gives you a bit more option to pick products that fits what else you're panning, and I feel like it's going to be easier to incorporate certain eyeshadows. And it also means that I will be able to maybe start hitting pan on more of my favorite eyeshadows, more than just like random eyeshadows that I might not enjoy as much. And you know, that's another reason actually why I started Project Level Up, was because then I could start focusing on eyeshadows that I preferred, like my favorite eyeshadows in the palette. Those were the ones I could pick to hit pan on. And with the prompts from Lainey, I can start picking eyeshadows like that again, because, you know, I of course want to have more dips in my favorite eyeshadows, because I want my collection to kind of showcase my makeup habits and like what I love, and I don't want just to have random pans and eyeshadows that I might not enjoy. So that's kind of also why I'm leaning towards doing Lainey's prompts. So that's most likely what I'm going to do next year for Panel's eyeshadows. I'm also going to bring it back up to 5 eyeshadows this year. I've done 4 only. And you know, I might be crazy, I might switch it back to 4 later in the year if I feel like it's too many eyeshadows, but I'm going to switch back to 5, especially since I am picking the eyeshadows now, or you know, if I decide to go with the prompts. So back to 5 eyeshadows. Additionally, I want to increase my 15 uses goal to 20 uses next year, because although, you know, I feel like, again, I hit pan on a lot of things within 15 uses that are easy to hit pan on for me, but I want to up it to 20 again, because I want to create a little bit more like difficulty to use them, since I make it easier picking the eyeshadows with the prompts, if that makes sense. And again, I feel like sometimes 15 uses is a bit too little. Like, it means I can rotate through eyeshadows more often, but I'm gonna up it to 20 because I still do ultimately want to hit pan on eyeshadows, and I feel like that's gonna be more likely if I have 20 uses or pan rather than 15 uses or pan. So that's basically what I'm planning to do with Panel's eyeshadows next year. Again, let me know what you think down below, but yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna stick with. Next up, because if 3 eyeshadow products weren't enough, I'm considering to do another product pan with eyeshadows. I don't know what to call this one yet, but it's going to be somewhat similar to like a BYOP, but also like a product 10 uses. You know, also like a single product pan, I don't know. But what I want to do basically is I want a product pan where I create a singles palette, like a BYOP, and I want to use every single shade 10 times in that palette, so all my singles 10 times. And when I hit my goal of 10 uses on a single eyeshadow, I want to rotate that out and I want to put something else in its place. And I haven't decided yet if I want to randomize the shades or if I want to handpick them. Maybe I want to do like half handpicked, half randomized. Not sure yet, but yeah, we'll see what I want to do with that. But I feel like that would be a really good thing for me to do, because I do want to get more use out of my singles collection and get to know some of the shades, because I have picked up quite a few shades this past couple of months, and I want to get to know them more and not just use them once. I want to get to know them, play around with them, and I feel like 10 uses would do that. So I'm really leaning towards doing that. It would be more of a relaxed project. It wouldn't necessarily be to like hit pan or anything, and it might take quite a while to, you know, rotate through them. I obviously won't go through my whole singles collection that way, but I feel like it would be a nice way to, you know, play around with my singles a bit more and, you know, get to know the eyeshadows. So that's something that I want to do as well. If you have a good name for this project, please let me know down below, because I don't know what to call it. I hope it's clear what I mean with the project, like what I'm planning to do. So again, if you have any good idea for the name of that project, let me know, and I, you know, if I like it, I might pick it next year. But I might, right now all I can think of is like, you know, randomize the BYOP if I want to randomize the shade, or something. I honestly don't know. Either use like Product 10 Uses Singles Edition, or what, I don't know, whatever. But let me know if you have a better name, because I'm stuck on names. I only thought of this project a couple of weeks ago, so I haven't really thought about the name, and I'm going to continue thinking about it, but I would love your ideas because I'm a bit stuck on it right now. So those are the main projects when it comes to like eyeshadows. Moving on to kind of other projects, the main project for other products I'm going to do is my rolling product pan again. This year though, I'm considering downing it to 5 products instead of 10, just because, I don't know, I feel like I have so many products I'm working on in different projects, and downing some products down to 5 would mean that I'm not so overwhelmed with what I'm panning, and it also means that I can rotate through more of my collection. But again, I haven't decided yet, but it's something that I'm considering. But otherwise, my rolling product pan will be set up mainly the same. I might change goals to just hitting pan on things rather than using everything up, because currently with my rolling product pan, I do want to finish every single item that is in that project. But yeah, I don't know, we'll see. It's going to be something that I pick to work on, and it's going to be rolling, like I said. So every time I finish something or hit my goal on, I'm going to replace it with another product that I pick myself again. And again, I'm leaning towards 5 products at the moment, but it's very straightforward, that project. So yeah, that's my rolling product pan. Then for the other 2 projects that I'm currently doing that are more kind of other face products and stuff like that, is my Deco Panning and whole collection product pan. I mean, I do have eyeshadows and stuff in it there too, but again, I'm a bit torn with what to do with those 2 projects. I think Deco Panning I will do again, because I really do like that project, and I like having prompts to pick from. So I do think I'm going to join that one again. With whole collection product pan, I'm a bit bored with that project. I feel like every time I do it, I keep re-rolling. I'm not very happy with what I pick, and also with like a lot of the cheek products like blushes and stuff that I pick, I like having those in there to kind of rotate through them a bit more, but also it does take away on products that I'm panning in my rolling product pan. So I'm a bit hesitant on if I want to continue doing it. I also always have like a couple eyeshadows in there, which is additional eyeshadows that I'm working on. So I'm thinking maybe next year I will skip whole collection product pan. But again, if you love that product for me, let me know, and I might consider keeping it in. Again, maybe downing the products to 5 rather than 10, maybe excluding eyeshadows from there and just focus on other products. This year I have excluded lip products from there because I'm doing my lip product pan. But maybe next year I will throw them in again and just exclude eyeshadows instead. So yeah, let me know what you think, and if that's a product that you really miss from me. So yeah, that is a whole collection product pan. So lastly for this year we have my lip product pan, which is my product Apopla Lips. That is a product I've been doing to finish lip products, but also to rotate through the rest of my lip product collection. It's similar to what I did with my, what did I call it? Lipstick Roulette ages ago. But also like I rated all the lip products and stuff like that. So you know, it's a really good product, and it meant that I got to know a lot of my lip products better, and I have a better overview now of what I like, what I don't. I have a spreadsheet now with like all my 5-star rated products, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, and so on, like just to have them all categorized, and it means that I kind of know what I love, what I don't love in my collection, and so on. And I really enjoyed that product, but that's gonna end soon. I'm gonna try to wrap it up before the end of December, so I don't know if I'm gonna bring it back. I might bring back like a panning project focused on lip products, maybe having like 5 or 10 rotated lip products in a like alone in a project, or I might incorporate them into, for example, like my whole collection product pan again and my rolling product pan. Again, let me know if you prefer to have like a standalone lip product pan again. That's so hard to say, lip product pan. It's such a hard thing to say. yeah, let me know if you want a standalone project like that, or if you want it incorporated into other projects, if you like me panning lipsticks in my rolling project pan, and then also, you know, with usage goals and stuff like that in my whole collection project pan if I decide to add that in. So yeah, that is my lip project pan for next year, like my plans for that. And that's basically the last one that I have to talk about. Also, let me know down below if there's anything else you want to see from me, if there are any other projects that you absolutely love that I would love to see from me, maybe something that I've done in the past that you want me to bring back, you know, anything like that, let me know. I love hearing ideas from you guys, and I love, again, hearing what you enjoy watching. So yeah, leave me some feedback down below, leave me some thoughts on the projects that I'm planning to do next year, as well as, you know, if there's anything you want me to add. But that is basically my plans for next year. This probably has been quite a long video, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But if you did enjoy it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and otherwise I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.